hearing from Mick Lynch, indicating that perhaps it was more positive, not the bellicose nonsense, as he said, with Grant Shapps, but really this interesting picture he was drawing about when they talked to the rail operating group, the 14 rail companies. They had been telling him they didn't have a mandate to negotiate on any of this.
Yes, and this has been an absolute mess. On Monday, you'll recall, as you say, they called an astonishing 8 days of strikes designed to cause absolute maximum disruption before Christmas and into the new year, with an overtime ban running right through the festive season. And they did that, I think, out of frustration. They said that a meeting with the train operators had been called off at 55 minutes notice because, quotes, the train operators weren't allowed to come up with negotiations. Now, they laid the blame strongly on the Department for Transport behind me, on the new Transport Secretary, Mark Harper. And the meeting today, I was really struck when Mick Lynch came out. He did seem to be in a more conciliatory mood, given his comments, though, for the last but one Transport Secretary, Grant Shapps. He seemed to be much more intent on reaching a settlement, and said that there'd been progress. They were expecting to get some formal statements from the Transport Secretary within the next 24 hours, possibly even overnight, and that they would go forward on the basis that they would be trying to reach a settlement. But it has been extremely messy, and of course, meanwhile, millions of us are hoping to travel over Christmas and the New Year don't know where we stand. All we do know is that there's definitely a strike this coming Saturday involving a different union, ASLEF, the train drivers. Their members are walking out at 11 train operators, and the rail delivery group says do not attempt to travel unless you absolutely have to. Having said that, there will be thousands of trains running on unaffected train operators.
Yeah, although we've obviously got this overtime ban as well. I mean, another positive aspect, Mick Lynch indicating that talks with Network Rail in the morning, because, of course, it's signalling staff as well that members of the RMT. But, I mean, the other problem on Network Rail, we're being told that we've got all these engineering works over Christmas and the New Year, which seems to happen every year when people are trying to get to see families across the festive season.
Oh, sure, yeah, and this might actually be the very last Christmas and New Year that we get all those. They have been a standard fixture for as long as anybody can remember. We've had more figures out actually this morning, Mark, showing that people aren't travelling nearly so much during the week. They are travelling much more at weekends and for leisure. And so we've got, for instance, Merseyrail saying they're going to bring back Boxing Day trains. And I think gradually over the festive season we will see moving towards a sort of proper 365-day railway. At the moment, though, exactly as you say, there will be disruption, particularly on the West Coast main line through the festive season, and that's even without any train strikes and overtime bans. So the hope is that we will get back to something like a normal railway, as good as or as bad as that might be. And I feel personally more optimistic about it now, having spoken to Mick Lynch in the past hour, than I have done for many months. I think we're possibly on the brink of a settlement. But of course, at the moment, as things stand, strike on Saturday definitely going ahead, and 8 more days of strikes that we don't know about yet.